James Harden, he was in a hype video for the Houston Dynamo. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got sound. Here's what he said.
This is my city, and I'm here. I'm here to stay. I know I need to, bring a championship in basketball, and I will. That's coming very, very soon. But just had to show my appreciation and let you guys know that I'm a part of the city and I'm here forever.
Let me say this. I am a huge James Harden fan. I voted for him to win the MVP in 2015 when Steph Curry won his first one. I voted for him in 27. No, I didn't vote for him when Russ won. People thought he should have won, but I voted for him when he won it 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I like watching him. A lot of people say he's boring. I like it because I know how difficult it is to just straight up handle like that.
Yes.
One-on-one against dudes that are longer than you in many cases, more athletic than you in many cases, and you can just shake them up essentially within a little 4-foot space and create enough space to launch your three-pointer and make it fall a lot of the time. So I'm a fan of what he does, and I hope that he does eventually get a ring.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to tell you it's not going to be very, very soon, as he said, all right? They're not winning it very, very soon. But if I had to bet, I'm not, like I've said, Russell Westbrook, if he's the best player on your team, as much as I like Russ, as much as I know he's going to be a legend and an icon, he's not going to lead the team to an NBA championship if he's your best player. I don't feel that way about Harden because I don't feel like stylistically he just can't get it done. But when I look at the landscape of the NBA, VJ, I think there's a great chance, a better chance than there is not, that he ends up like Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Steve Nash, and all those great players who were awesome, all-time greats, but never got the ring.
Yeah, you could throw Stockton and Malone in there also too.
Many more.
I'm with you, man. James Harden, number one, he's just a certified baller. It kills me how we criticize like 36 buckets a night. Like he got so much criticism, but he had to do that. Chris Paul was hurt, surprise, surprise, and he had to do that night in and night out for them to
for a little while.
Yeah, for a little while.
He
but
had to keep it up.
Well, I mean, once you get in that, you play ball. You know how it is. Once you get in that pocket, man, it's just.
Well, that's what scares me.
Yeah, you're in the flow.
He's been in that pocket now for 2 years at least. and hold on.
Yeah.
The pocket is good.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't gotten the ring, but you've gotten a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You being mentioned in the same breath as Michael Jordan, as Wilt Chamberlain. Some people saying you're the best offensive player one-on-one they've ever seen. I mean, the pocket is good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is he, after experiencing this, is he willing to make the necessary changes? He's capable. He's versatile. He's not like Russ, where Russ has to play a certain way.
Yep.
No, he's capable of making the changes, but will he? Does he want to? Does he have the appetite for it after what he's been doing the last few years one-on-one?
I think he does, and I think what's going to happen with him and Russ, and this is probably on the smaller percentage of what people have said since that trade was made, I think he will look at Russ. Russ plays with his hair on fire, and we know that. James is smart enough, I think, to be able to peel himself back, and I think he will. I think he'll still be the best player on that team, but he'll still peel himself back enough. I think he has that type of personality, and I think him and Russ have had a conversation where they both put up phenomenal numbers, but they both get dogged by fans, by radio, by TV, and I think those two guys have kind of had a little conversation, man, like, you know what, let's go out here, and I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to peel back. You still go hard. And they still got a team. You still got Capella. You still got Gordon. You still got Tucker. Like, you still got some ballers on that squad. I thought they got better. And to answer your question, I think he does. And I'll go out on a limb. I say I got him in the Western Conference Finals. I'm going that far with the Houston Rockets. Now, it's early, but hey, you know what? Let's throw it out there. I'm going with the Houston Rockets because I feel like
So you think they're the second, but you don't have them going to the finals?
No, I don't have them going to the finals.
You think they're the second best team in the West?
Well, at the end of the season, they may not be ranked number 2, but I just think they're going. Seeding, but yeah, exactly. But I think they're just going to the Western Conference Finals. I think they have that much talent, and I think Harden will pull himself back a little bit because like you said, Russ has got to play with his hair on fire night in and night out for 38, 39 minutes, and I think he does. I think he has it in him to do it.
I don't see it happening.
Okay.
I think that the Clippers are definitely better. I think the Lakers are better.
Are they? The Lakers?
Yeah.
They're
I
old.
think they are.
They're old, Chris.
Anthony Davis isn't old.
No, he's not. But
Avery Bradley isn't old. He's been banged up last few years.
Yeah.
He's not old.
But when you get banged
JaVale
up.
McGee and LeBron, look, people can hate all they want. All I know is it was 27, 8, and 8, and it was 4th seed in the West until he got hurt.
Yeah.
And everything went haywire after that. We know, and partly because of him, largely because of him.
Okay.
With the trade stuff with Anthony Davis, that it just fell apart. But they were actually beginning to play some really good basketball, even with those young kids. And I think he's coming back with a vengeance. So I would take the Lakers over them as well. I like a healthy. That means with Klay Thompson. Like, best case scenario, I think, for Golden State is Klay comes back maybe in February, March, and works his way back to 100% by playoff time. If he can do that, I like Houston better, or Golden State better than Houston.
Well, my Western Conference Finals is the Warriors and the Rockets.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whoa.
man, I'm not drinking. Listen,
you buried the lead, my man.
Yeah,
Warriors, right? So,
yeah.
dang.
Yeah, and I mean that. I'm not just saying this for clicks. You know me, Chris. I don't do sports talk like that. And when I just look at the landscape, if I just look at the scope, if I can't hear, just give me 30 seconds. When I look at the additional D'Angelo Russell, I understand why people say, "Oh, I don't know if that's going to work." I get that part of it, but everybody does seem to go to Golden State and fit in. People keep forgetting this. Right. Everybody does
Name
go
one
there.
Player that went there
exactly.
didn't ball.
Durant didn't play defense like that until he went to Golden State. And they said, "Look, we know you can score. We got all that, but you got to play D here because we're small. So we need you to play D." And Durant stepped up and played that D. Everybody goes there, fits in. And when I look at the Lakers and I look at the Clippers, whenever we have these moves in the big off seasons of the NBA, it always takes a year for the teams that everybody looks at that's made. Look at Miami when they went and they formed the Heatles. It took them a year. And then after that,
it didn't take Boston's big three a year.
No, you're right. It didn't take Boston's big
Toronto.
three. But I will tell you this, though. I will give credit to LeBron and that Cavs team. They took that Boston team to 7 games. And that Boston team lost every road game like the first 2 rounds. They went 7-7.
But they were ferocious in the regular season,
yeah.
And obviously they ended up winning the title.
Absolutely. But they don't. We're also talking about Ray Allen, one of the best shooters, one of the best shooters of all time.
Yeah. See, I'm shocked. I like the Warriors too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm shocked that you don't have the LA team, that you're so down on the LA teams.
Nah, it's going to take a year, man.
It's not going to take the Clippers. They're going to fit in smoothly, boy. Swimmingly, I've been saying.
No, and I believe you. But if in May, in a 7-game series, I'm looking at guys that have already won it, like Kawhi's got a couple, LeBron's got his 3, and I'm not saying they would shut it down or not play as hard, but I think the hunger from Russ and from Harden, if that team is healthy with the way they can shoot the 3 ball, and that's big in the playoffs, is if you can shoot from the 3, you have a great chance at winning. Look what Toronto did from the 3 this year in the playoffs, and then in the finals, the games that Golden State lost, they didn't shoot well from the 3. And with that team, I'm just going out on a limb, man. And then
you are going out.
I'm going out on a limb, brother. I'll stick with it.
I don't like Houston nearly as much as you. So all right, so you think Harden? I mean, look, you got him in the conference finals, especially against the Warriors.
Yeah,
you must be giving them a good chance to win the championship this year.
No, because I still think I just something in me. And maybe it's my vanilla brother heart for Steph. Something in me just thinks that the Warriors will, like you said, Klay will be back. I got him at February. I got him probably around after the All-Star break. You don't need to bring him back before then. Bring him back after the All-Star break. Get his legs back. And I think Draymond's going to improve his game this year. I like some of the other moves they've done. Kevon Looney, that was huge. I thought he was going to get away. But bringing him back, that was big.
I actually like getting Willie Cauley-Stein,
yes, too. Another long, because they need that length. They didn't have it. And I think that's going to be the difference. This just I go out on a limb.
Here's the thing though with Harden, and look, I'm sure Harden and Russ have spoken. Mm-hmm. Obviously they've spoken about working it out with each other. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure Chris Paul and Harden spoke too, and I know they're not as close as Russ and Harden are. They're legitimately close.
Yeah,
but Harden did not change his game one iota for Chris Paul. In fact, his usage rate went up every year that Chris Paul was there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have changed my game for Chris Paul neither.
Why not? Chris Paul the freaking certified Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he is. You're right.
And if you want to win, Chris is not as good as James Harden. No question about it.
Okay.
But Chris was right, and I'm sure he said it the wrong way. But he was right in that, look, we need to get more ball movement. We need to get some player movement in here if we're going to win. And that's the thing. Like, and again, if Harden changes, then they got a chance. And look, D'Antoni's not the coach to make him change or to even say you need to change. But one-man shows rarely win it all. And Will Chamberlain, when he was scoring 50 and 45, 38 points a game, never won. He won championships averaging 24 points and 14 points a game. Michael Jordan's 3 highest scoring seasons of his career didn't win championships. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care how great you are. A one-man show is not going to win it. So they have to change. Look, Russ and Harden, I think it'll work to a certain degree, but I don't think it can work to a championship unless they had a different system where there was more ball and player movement. Because if they keep running what they're running and you expect Russ to spot up on the three-point line or Harden to spot up on the three-point line consistently while Russ has the ball, I don't think that's happening.
But I don't think that, and I don't think that's going to happen either. I think Russ is going to run the point, and I think that
So what's Harden going to do?
Harden, he could play the 2 or the 3.
Spot up, he going to be a spot. Their offense calls for spotting up.
I got you.
High pick and roll, man with the ball, penetrate or kick.
I think more pick and roll gets inserted into the offense this offseason. I think they run a little more pick and roll, and you have Russ, who's more of a scoring threat than Chris Paul was. And just back to Chris real quick.
He's what more than Chris Paul?
He's more of a scoring threat than Chris Paul. I mean, as far as getting to the
he can't shoot like Chris.
No, he can't. He can't shoot. Well, but okay. So then let me ask you this: then where was Chris shooting when they really needed it? Then
he balled in Game 6.
Well,
he have 27 against Golden State
in one game,
11 for 15
in one game.
I'm just saying. Well, look,
you're right.
The system wasn't. I mean, the reason it worked to the degree it did was because he could catch and shoot.
Okay,
Russ can't catch and shoot, so I'm skeptical unless they make severe changes. But it's a great conversation. Yeah. Will James Harden ever be able to bring a title home to Houston? Your turn to weigh in. 877-99 on Fox.
First caller is my man Tony from my area, the DMV from Washington, D.C. You're live right now on The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard, Veejay Wright.
Fellas, what's going on?
What up, Tony?
What's happening, man?
Hey, I'm torn. Chris, you said something interesting before you went to commercial. I believe the Rockets have everything in place defensively and offensively. I just feel that Mike D'Antoni's the weak link. If they had Doc Rivers or Kerr or even Mark Jackson as a coach, I think you could pencil them in for the finals. But D'Antoni's track record with Phoenix and these Rockets teams, he just can't, in the playoffs, his strategy gets exposed and he doesn't make adjustments.
Well, that's true. Think? That's true. And one of his other weaknesses is he's not confrontational.
No.
And somebody needs to talk. You don't have to do it in a mean-spirited way or yelling or anything, of course. But they need to challenge James Harden to change. And they need to they can't run back their same system with this personnel. I think Russ by himself would be a terror with the ball in his hands, high pick and roll, three-point shooter spread around him. And I think Harden obviously is. We've seen that the last 2 years. But together, they got to make some tweaks, some serious tweaks, really some changes to make it work for those two together.
I agree with you. They do, but I think James Harden will. I'm gonna go on that. I'm gonna go on that edge.
Well, his coach, I don't think gonna push him to.
Well, you're right about that. You're right about that.
They're gonna have to make some difference.
And that caller was right too, man. Tony was right too. D'Antoni is the weak link, and because we do have to just go by the history.
Yep.
All right. Next caller, coming from a state I used to live in. My mother was stationed out of Fort Ben Harrison in Indiana back in her Army days. Mel, you are live right now on The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Veejay Wright.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's going on,
happening?
brother? Hey, man, thanks for taking my call. Hey, my whole thing is this. Man, with Russ putting all the pressure on that defense, and with them shooters, Gordon, who's from the state of Indianapolis, T.J. Tucker, man, he's gonna put mad pressure on them defenses, man, and we know already what James Harden can do. And as far as Mike D'Antonio, the bottom line is, man, they was a Chris Paul hamstring away from going to the championship. The only team that they couldn't get through was Golden State. Hey, without Kevin Durant, Golden State is no more. So I don't understand why anybody would think that the Rockets could win the championship this year. There is no way
they're a different team. They're not the same team. They're more talented. They're more explosive. They're more dynamic. But is it going to fit? Chemistry is important.
Yes,
Fit is important. What's James Harden going to be doing when Westbrook's putting all that pressure on the defense? Spotting up? Really? He used to taking 7 dribbles. 7 dribbles before he shoots. He had, of over 1,000 three-point attempts this year, only 70 of them were catch and shoot. So, I like them. I think they're going to be good and dangerous. But I can't see them winning the West.
Western Conference Finals.
We will take some of your calls. Let's get to them, VJ.
Yes, first one up, man, from my home state. I feel so loved. Mark, you're live right now on The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and VJ. What you got for us, Mark?
Hey, gentlemen, how you doing this evening? Hey, Chris, you got to give up this thing with James Harden, man. He's never going to win. You know, your guest tonight, he is right on point. If Klay Thompson comes back in time for the playoffs, it's going to be more of the same. Because the game is about opportunities. If Golden State gets the same amount of opportunities you get, they're going to shoot better than you. And that's the name of the game. They're too efficient for anybody to beat them. If, even with Kevin Durant hurt, and none of those other injuries happened, they would be having a parade now. I mean, Golden State, I still think they're going to be formidable. And I think they can still win it.
I think they're the third best team in the West. Third best behind the two LA teams.
Third behind who?
The Clippers and the Lakers.
The Clippers haven't even played together yet.
That's all right. The Raptors hadn't played together before last year, had they? And you saw what happened with that.
Golden State shoots better from the 3-point line than most people shoot from the field.
Well, that's not true, but they do shoot well from the 3-point line. They do. And I mean, I like Golden State. And you jumped on. I said I don't think Harden's going to win a championship. Well, I don't even know what you're talking about when you said I got to get off this Harden thing.
He brought that smoke.
He's a great individual player, didn't he?
He came
but he
with
brought
the
it
smoke.
in correctly. Nah, you got Hard though. I just had to correct.
I know, right? I know. Well, listen, you're Chris Broussard. You got a huge name, so you know if they don't agree with you, they definitely want to go. Yeah, exactly. They want to come at you, man. You've earned that respect. So we'll move on to the Lone Star State, Dwight in Texas. You're live right now on The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and VJ.
Hey, what's good, fellas?
What's going on?
Listen to y'all show every day, man. Hey, listen, real quick. I'm glad y'all don't have Hayden Robb up there. All he do is hate on LeBron 24 hours. That's kind of refreshing. Kind of refreshing.
Fired.
Rack 'em. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm loving that. But anyway, listen, man, James Harden puts up all these regular season numbers, 50 points, 13 assists, and all that. But it just doesn't equal the wins. And same with Westbrook. Now, I think, like my man VJ said earlier, I think Westbrook has to be the point guard. Let him bring the ball up and let James Harden play off him a little bit, you know? I think that can work out. What y'all think, fellas?
Well, Westbrook bringing the ball up, Harden, it can work if Harden's willing to do it. If Harden's willing to play off the ball. Now, remember, when they were together in OKC, and I know they were two young guys,
super young,
very much different,
yeah,
right? Very different young players. But Harden would be the playmaker, and Russ would play off the ball. The thing is this, it was a different NBA. The three-point ball back in 2012 was not nearly as prominent as it is now. So you could have a two-guard that couldn't really shoot but was athletic, a la Allen Iverson, a la Dwayne Wade. Nowadays, it's difficult to do that. So it's going to take a lot, I think, to develop that chemistry with them. But look, they're both great, and I hope it works to some degree. And I think it will.
They also too. That was I haven't even thought of that comparison because I've heard other people use that. But as you said, that's 2012. That's going to be 7-8 years ago that they played together. The game is different. But Harden was also the sixth man on that team, averaging a dub off the bench. So
he was entirely different.
Exactly, it was an entirely different situation. That when they played together has nothing. Is going to have nothing to do with what they're able to accomplish in the next few years while they play together. So we'll move on to the last one here. We got Nolan right here in California, up in Sacramento. Nolan, you're live right now on The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Veejay Wright.
Hey, fellas, listen, the Houston Rockets, it's going to be fun to watch, but I'm with Chris on this one. It doesn't equal wins when it comes to playoff time. And listen, guys, LeBron James is going to come with a vengeance, and when people say they haven't played together, I just don't understand that because, honestly, we've seen plenty of teams get formed over the offseason, and then they come into the regular season, and they're a force to be reckoned with. The Lakers and the Clippers are clearly the top two teams. Harden and Westbrook do not equal wins. All right, thanks, fellas.
That's a smart caller right there. Very smart caller. Rack DJ Teichert.
I bet you. I figured you would think that. I figured you would think they was a real smart caller. Listen. I don't disagree. Just my prediction and my foresight is I think Harden. I like Harden. I like the way he carries himself. His personality. I think his personality will allow him to say, okay, we're going to some possessions. It doesn't have to be completely, Chris. I just think maybe 20%, 30% of the possessions. Let's add some more pick and roll. I can play a little different.
Oh, they're gonna have some pick and roll.
I don't have to dribble and you're right. He does. It's a lot of one-on-one, a lot of ISO, and he'll still get that. But I just think that they're both smart enough basketball players, and at the point of their careers where the West is stacked and we don't know what happens from year to year, and every year you got to just go for it. And and if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to come on air and say, hey, I thought he could step back, and he still just wants to be what most people look at Carmelo Anthony as. And it just is, and we see where Carmelo is right now. So proof's in the pudding, and I don't even eat pudding.
Yeah, Carmelo, I'm just waiting. I mean, Carmelo, I said it a year ago.
Yeah.
He needs to retire.
Man.
Because this is unbecoming of a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I think that's what he is.
Really? First ballot?
Oh, yeah. You don't think so?
Okay. If the way they do it, then yeah. But if I guess I'm just still in that, I don't want to just be the old guy at the barbershop, but I guess I am turning. It's similar, a little bit into the old guy at the barbershop is that, I mean, goodness gracious, they let like 40 people in every year. It's crazy. Like the NFL Hall of Fame. It's like at this pace, everybody's going to get it.
But you're saying Carmelo Anthony does not deserve to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Not first. No, yes, I am.
Why not?
Not first ballot because if you're just going to go by numbers, I just don't think that's enough. Did he impact the game long enough? And I don't think the answer is yes.
Long enough, meaning like his team's being good?
Yeah, longevity.
He had longevity.
He had a great team in Denver, but we know Chauncey Billups steadied that offense just like he did when he went to Detroit. So he had the ability to play off of Chauncey.
But his first year in the league, he took a 17-win Nuggets team to the playoffs.
He did.
In the West as a rookie. It took LeBron 2 years to get Cleveland in the playoffs. Same number of wins, 17 in the East.
True. Very true.
And again, I know that's not a big deal making the playoffs, but it shows that he did win to some degree. And he was so great individually. Like, I think he's definitely a first ballot Hall of Fame. Now, I know he didn't win much. He got to the conference finals once. And I don't hold it against him that Chauncey was with him that year. I mean, he needed a point guard to lead him and lead that team and steady him. But Melo, man, look, Olympian, one of the greatest Olympians in terms of winning basketball. I mean, that doesn't mean a lot because we crush everybody. But then he won it in college. Remember, it's a basketball Hall of Fame. 1 year in
Okay.
college
Okay.
take Syracuse to the title.
That's true. That's true. But God, I always gotta have the devil's advocate angle, don't I? But in that championship game against Kansas, Kansas just shot horribly that game, and that was one of the most
that don't even matter.
No,
Melo
it does.
balled.
It
It wasn't
does.
like Melo didn't play well.
He didn't. He did. He didn't have a blowout. He didn't have a crazy stat game, Chris. Like they won the game,
but he had a nice game, and he was the most what do they call it? Most outstanding player.
MOP. Yeah. Well,
freshman.
I just don't
We've
think
seen a lot of freshmen come in,
True.
Kevin Durant and others,
True.
Derrick Rose, and they don't do that.
Oh, Derrick Rose hits his free throws. I know.
But he didn't.
I know. And
But
then
he didn't.
Mario with the 3, and the rest is history.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
So stop hating on Melo.
I'm not. I love. Oh, whoa. I love Melo. I do. I'm a Melo. No, I'm a Melo fan, bro. Like he from Baltimore. I'm a Melo fan. I saw Melo play in high school. I saw him play AAU in high school.
Then you should know better.
No, that doesn't mean that I got to think he's a first ballot, though. See,
more of the odd couple with VJ Hater in the house, right? In for Rob Park. I guess you fitting in for Rob. You wearing those hater shoes.
But I'm in your chair though, so I'm good though.
All right.
See?
All right.